There you go,
Boone.
Boone. Not quite Amir, but we'll take you.
We'll take
Heck
you.
yeah. Yeah, I'm
Trying,
going
man.
shopping and was so that's why I don't have video. But I saw things not going great, and which is unfortunate. I was very looking forward to hearing from Amir.
Me
But
too, man.
I wanted to take this opportunity to plug ADR29, which sets per asset fees, and particularly for XMR, as we've been talking about. So I just wanted to kind of expand awareness of this to the community, and then also tie in POL, which we do need to change the Amir from economic to operational, I think. So just wanted to spread that awareness as well. But yeah, if we get good volume in the shallow Monero pool, then the POL should funnel to it, and then it can
Yep.
grow organically. So yeah, just want to kind of
That
put those
that'd be
ideas out there.
For those who don't know, because I know we have people who are not too familiar with THORChain, we have a global setting for the fees on THORChain. So when you do swaps, we have a min basis points fees. So what Boone is proposing essentially is we have individual pools of each exogenous asset. These are real exogenous assets. Everything's paired with Rune. What he's suggesting is that we have specific fees for specific pools, and Monero is a great example of this because what we would essentially have is a air quotes monopoly. You can swap for it in other ways, but in the implementation we have are true permissionless. It is we'd be the only game in town, really. And so 50 basis points, I think you floated, right, Boone? So nothing crazy, but I think it's a good way to reward THORChain. And also, if we had more fees, I would assume that would translate to more POL, as Boone said, which would deepen the pool organically, which is great, which would be really awesome. So yeah, thanks, Boone.
Boone, but I still don't understand really the difference between what you want and dynamic fees. In my mind, they're the same. Like, it's just, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I actually think that there's some fundamental issues with the dynamic fee feature as it's currently written, which will make it not achieve the intended goal. The biggest one is that the dynamic fees only apply to L1 swaps with a affiliate fee. And the affiliate fee doesn't really matter so much. The important part is it only applies to L1 swaps. So just theoretically, let's say a certain pair has been granted a 3 bips fee, right? Instead of the 10 we have standard right now. Let's say it's down to 3. And so when the L1 swapper, the user, goes, the protocol is going to chop up their swap into as many subswaps as necessary to give 3 bips slip, which is also 3 bips fees for that swap. And so then that will be executed against the pool. However, ARBs still have the 10 bips minimum fee. And so there won't be the counterflow to rebalance the pool to allow the next 3 bips swap. So there won't be reliable counterflow if there's less than a 10 bips dislocation in the price pool. And so therefore, I think the feature will kind of be dead on arrival. Now, maybe a L1 swapper will get lucky and, someone will be going from Bitcoin to ETH and someone else will be going from ETH to Bitcoin and they both have low fees, then that would work. But without changing the min bips for the ARBs to give counterflow to the reduced fee L1 swappers, I just don't think it's going to work as intended. So that's the biggest reason. And then also, as I've kind of been pointing out recently, just due to the nature of constant product AMM pools and the mathematical structure of THORChain, and if you look at it, it's about actually 60% of THORChain's volumes is ARBs. And so you can kind of, this is rough, it's not exact, but roughly for every L1 swap, then there's the counterflow of the ARB. So ARB should be about half of THORChain's volume always, right? And so if this feature only applies to the L1 swaps, it's not affecting half, or really, in practice, 60% of the volume of THORChain. And then I just looked at like a 2-hour period, because if you're looking at block level data, it gets, the data gets expensive quickly. But that subsection that the feature would apply to, L1 swaps that have an affiliate fee, in the 2 block period I looked at, it was only 33% of THORChain's volume. So if that holds, the feature would only affect 33% of the protocol's volume and hence 33% of the protocol's revenue. And so for all those reasons, I don't think the feature as currently implemented will actually work the way we would hope it to. And then, so to contrast that, the ADR29 that I threw together, I have a draft MR as well, and it does play nice with the dynamic fees. So if they are ever in conflict, it just chooses the higher of the two. So if the dynamic fees are higher, then it goes with that. Or if the minimum bips of the per asset is higher, then it goes with that. And a big I don't even know the right word, but like a reason why it makes more sense is it doesn't just apply to those L1 swaps, it applies to all swaps. And so it will monetize that 60% of flow, or if we go with, the 33% number, it would monetize that 66% of volume that Chad's feature would currently miss out on. And so it would just generate quite a bit more revenue. And again, I mainly, created this feature specifically for Monero. And yeah, so that's kind of my take there.
Why not just let dynamic fees, just turn it on and just see how it goes? And then you could be proven right, or Chad, or maybe neither of you, and there's some other, something nobody predicted comes up, and just see how it goes. And then
Yeah, I mean,
that
we
will
can. I
be able
mean,
to um, reshape, how to react to it. And then, maybe we do need to implement what you're proposing, or maybe what you're proposing can just be uh, baked in, like kind of like the dynamic fee formula and whatever can just can be altered to be similar to what you're proposing. Um, like do you want to just not do dynamic fees, period, and just go straight to your fee model? Um,
I think you've asked me 2 questions. Can I
yeah, sorry.
answer before I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I'll answer the first or the second one first. So no, the concept behind dynamic fees I think is smart and I like it. And I just think the implementation should be tweaked, but like the general idea of, I mean, it supports kind of the thing that I've been pushing for a long time, but we just want to maximize revenue. And I think it makes sense to tailor the fees we charge to the venues, the front ends that use them. So I love the concept and I support the concepts. And I specifically designed this per asset fee to play nice with it because I want both features to exist. So this is not a replacement. This is not instead of Chad's dynamic fees. Um, but like I pointed out, I think there just are issues with his feature as currently designed. And so I want to, and also, most ADRs take a while. So I don't expect my proposal to go into effect anytime soon. So hopefully the nodes will finish voting for ADR 26 and we will see the dynamic fees functioning on their own without my feature interacting with them. So we will have that trial period, which is great and I support. And then I had one other point I wanted to make. Hold on. Oh yeah, and then the last thing is this ADR29, similar to the POL, is completely like additive. Like there's no, just because the code is, merged into the protocol, there's no reason to turn it on, right? So it'll be, I'm proposing it as an operational Amir. So it's very easy to turn off. There's no reason for it to be on. And so should the ADR be accepted, all it does is give the nodes more optionality. There's no requirement to even use it. So to me, it's like a no-brainer. Why not give us one more lever? There's no need to push it.
Just off the top of my head, just be time. Chad and whoever's time writing the code, getting it implemented. It's just,
Yeah, I
um,
mean, to be honest, I think dev lift with AI coding quickly, like, yeah, you need review, but like the features already, the draft of the features already there. So, it's a minimal lift to review it, in my opinion. It doesn't, it has a small surface area. It doesn't touch that much. And so I don't think it would really consume that much in terms of dev resources personally.
so then what kind of
Okay.
feed would you said this, Monero is kind of the push for you kind of wanting to do this. What fee do you think should be on Monero?
I've been throwing out 50 bips.
Is that
And
kind of
so
a
a
thumb
double,
suck number, or do you have any kind of did you do any kind of research to come up with that?
So if you look at other, we were calling it decks in the front, sex in the back. So Dex mullets or whatever, they're kind of the cheapest about them. All charge about 1 bips, or sorry, 1%, a full, so 100 bips. Um, and that's very standard for Monero pretty much across the board. And several of them charge more than that. And so if we're doing 50 bips on a double
Cheaper.
swap, that's,
Yeah.
that's
Oh
a
yeah,
full
that's
percent
fine.
there. And so it's kind of the market price. But then ours is permissionless, where theirs is not necessarily. And so by keeping it the same price but having a better product, we're there. And then the other, yeah. So that's kind of just that's the little bit of market research I did. But of course, it's not up to me; it's up to the nodes. But that's kind of the number I've been, throwing out there.
So I kind of yeah, I'm not too sure about I completely get being able to jack the fees because we're the only game in town. But I can't help but feel it might be just short-sighted because if we do that, we're making all this kind of money. All that does is encourage competition. And so, like Sarai, for example, right? Say Luke Parker sees all this money we're making, and that really kicks him in the butt to get Sarai done, and then he's just going to undercut us. And then we go back and forth, and like a price battle. And so we end up having to lower our fees anyway. Um, and I'd like us to have a monopoly, and the best way, well, the only way to have like a real monopoly, like without violence, without force, is keeping your prices down. And so by keeping our prices down, we make it that much more expensive for competition to come in and take and earn market share because they have to come in even lower and which they might not be able to. So if we already price Monero in a way that it just makes it too hard for anyone to compete, we corner the market and we make up the difference on volume. You know, so I'm not too sure I want to like jack the Monero price up to 1% just because everybody else is. Um, I kind of like to blow it out of the water. Just leave the bips we're at right now, and that should suck all the volume. If everyone else is trading at 1% or higher, and on THORChain you can do 0.2%, that's a big difference, especially if people are doing multiple swaps. That should get a lot of attention. We should be able to just suck volume from all those other exchanges and come straight to us. Whereas, like, some people might, if they're paying the same price between us and Let's Exchange, they might say, "Oh, I like Let's Exchange. I'm going to keep using it. I'm not worried about it." You know what I mean? Like, it's not the switching cost isn't that the opportunity for them to switch really isn't that great. If we're 5 times
Yeah.
cheaper and we're permissionless, it's like, okay, this is a no brainer. You go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfectly valid line of argumentation. And I mean, sure. I guess, and I think probably, well, I think you and I probably disagree on this, and I think myself and probably most of the community, just based on just the general reception. But yeah, if we step away from specifically Monero and just like talk broader, I had posted this both in Discord and in the Telegram chat, but Near is still, because they're subsidizing their validators with token emissions, and their income from Near Intents is like 14% of their token emissions. So as a protocol, they're losing money by offering their swaps. And then looking at the last time I looked at it, which was only like 2 weeks ago, something like that, Chainflip is making, they made, I think, $2 million, 1.9, if I remember, over the last calendar year, year to date. No, not year to date, just the calendar year. And when I looked at it, I would want to double check, but this was based off Rainalytics, and he's pretty good. But so for a similar calendar year, THORChain made 17 million, and so and we have, our fees are much higher than either of those protocols. And so my general consensus, or not consensus, my general argument is that right now, especially with the competitor that's stealing all our volume, they're doing that at a loss, and it doesn't make sense to play that game with them. Like, we don't want to, if they want to burn VC money, more power to them, but I don't think that makes sense for us to try to compete with them. And so if we're trying to go after all swap volume, yeah, our fees are higher and we're not going to win that game right now. But I don't think that's the game we want to play. And where THORChain's inelastic volume, it comes from two sources. It comes from, first, the ARBs, because it's, again, ARB volume is going to roughly equal organic volume, if we want to call it that way. And then the organic volume is people who, for whatever reason, find it to their benefit to pay us essentially for permissionlessness, right? That's the only real reason right now to use THORChain instead of any of those other services, is we are actually truly permissionless and they are not. So anyone who is using us, that's what they're paying for. And they're not paying us because we're the cheapest swap. And so my argument is, like, you can kind of go either way. Like, right now we're sitting in the middle, and we're not the cheapest, so we're not getting that volume, but we're also not maximizing we're not maximally monetizing the permissionless flow demand. And so we should go one way or the other. And I think most people want to go cheap, but again, just based on looking at our competitors, that doesn't make sense to me, which is why, all right, if we can't go cheap, we should go more expensive. And so now returning to what you were saying about specifically XMR, again, that's a perfectly, valid argument. And you can say, capturing that flow is like building a moat and it's preventing people coming in. But I think people are going to come in no matter what. I think any amount of money that THORChain makes is other people are going to see it. I mean, Sarai's building, they were building regardless of THORChain, right? It has, like, THORChain has nothing to do with Sarai, and I don't think the fees we charge will meaningfully change their timelines. And specifically, my understanding is Luke is, he's very particular, and he's going to launch when he's as convinced as possible that Sarai is as perfect as possible, right? I think his goal is to have zero mistakes from day one. And so I don't think THORChain fee rate will really change his philosophy or his timeline too much, specifically. And then the other thing is, I don't think cross-chain swappers are very loyal, and I don't think there's very much friction. Like, you say, oh, I'm just going to stay on Let's Exchange. I don't think there's that much lock-in, really. And I think most volume would probably go through aggregators such as SwapKit or whatever. And because it's we can, if a new entry comes in, then yeah, we can undercut them. And so
By then it's too late. We want
well, is it
to
that?
preemptively
Okay.
undercut
No,
them, right?
again, I hear your perspective. I just don't necessarily agree. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
and again, I'm not trying to like be right or win, but just like that's
yeah.
my perspective. Is I'd rather see us go the high fee direction rather than the low fee direction. But I am a minority in this view, so that is what it
Yeah.
is.
So I think that's optimizing for the short term. So like with Sarai and Luke, for example, you could be right. He's a perfectionist. He wants everything his way, but it's all open source. And so just like you piggybacked some of his code to implement it on THORChain, if someone else sees all this money THORChain is making with Monero, they'd be like, well, I'm not gonna wait for Luke to start Sarai. I'm gonna start Kenton XMR exchange. I'm gonna go find some devs who can fork the THORChain and Sarai code and make my own platform. And this is how markets work, is people see this huge pot of money that somebody's making, and it's a magnet for entrepreneurs to come and take a piece of that. And so Sarai may never launch. Luke may never launch Sarai, but that doesn't stop others from launching their own versions. And so, the more money we're making, the higher our profit margin, the easier it is for someone else to come in and grab a piece of it. And then like people paying for the permissionless stuff, I get it. I agree that people are willing to pay a premium, but I think what we have seen over the years is that people just don't value permissionless like we think they should, um, or at least not to the same dollar amount we think they should. So like THORChain has like 0.1% of global spot volume. So there's 99.9% of the volume out there is more than happy to stay on centralized exchanges and do it. You know, I could care less about competing with Chainflip and Near. I want to compete with Coinbase and Binance. How do we get that? That's where we need to get volume. And um, it could just be simply price, right? That they don't want to leave because it's cheaper. They're happy to take the risk of, Coinbase and Binance hasn't stolen anyone's money yet. And so maybe they're happy with it. They're comfortable. Um, and until THORChain is genuinely really objectively cheaper, then maybe we can't capture that volume. So if we're just jacking our fees to optimize that 0.1% of volumes on THORChain, it'll feel good in the short term, but we'll never grow. We'll never have a shot at tapping into that 99.9%. So yeah, I don't, how would you, then how do you think we get that 99.9% of volume on sexes? How do we get that on THORChain if we're charging higher fees?
Yeah. Okay. So, man, there was a lot of points there. So first of all, I agree with almost everything you just said, big picture. I guess where I would kind of push back first is you said you think my take is short term. And I would say, yes, you're kind of right, but I kind of more think of it as medium term, where um, hopefully this won't take too long. But if you kind of look at the way Elon has built his Muskonomy or whatever, right? Like everything is a stepping stone to get to Mars, right? And so he built Tesla, and then that gave his organizations operational knowledge and manufacturing. And then now there's Starship and the Boring Company, and he's obviously trying to build tunnels on Mars or the moon or whatever. And like he backed off the Mars and he's going to build the moon base first. And so it's like stepping stones, right? And so you don't go to the end right away. And so I agree. Yeah, long term, of course, we want to capture all swap volume, right? And I completely agree there. But I guess the difference is I don't think we should try to shoot for that goal right away because I don't think it's realistic. And so the first market I think we should monetize is another thing I want to push back on. He's like, oh, well, people don't value permissionlessness the way we hope we would. I don't agree with that. I think just most people don't need it yet. Okay. And so Venmo works great for most people. Like we don't need, like most people don't need crypto yet. Right. I just think we're really, really, really early. Um, but at the same time, some people are getting debanked and, things are happening and there is more of a push towards crypto and more, I guess, permissionlessness. And but it's the need and therefore the demand for permissionless is just really small. But that's the only place THORChain has an edge currently is permissionlessness. And so yeah, I mean, and minus, I mean, someone would have to pull up the numbers. I don't have that in front of me. I'm not on my computer, but like, what percentage of global exchange volumes is near intense right now? I don't know if you guys can look or if anyone happens to know that off the top of their head, but like, their fees are way lower than ours. How are they doing competing against Binance and Coinbase, et cetera, right now?
I think similar numbers as THORChain. I think our volumes are similar. Um,
Okay, so I mean, they're losing money and they're still not winning that volume that you're trying to win.
yeah, but it's a step towards it. So like you mentioned, so Elon does everything, every decision he makes to just get me closer to Mars, right? When someone buys a Tesla, they don't give a damn about Elon's mission to Mars. They're like, I want a cool car. I want a car that works, gets me to work. I can drive it, protects my kids, whatever. They don't care about the mission to Mars. And so just like Thorchain's mission to Mars is this permissionless, uncensored exchange that dominates the world, the average person using Thorchain they don't care about that. They want to know, can I get my Bitcoin? Can I get a good price? Is it safe? I don't want it stolen from me, right? They don't necessarily care about the big picture that we have. So, the only way Elon can get all these people buying his products is if he's solving problems for those people, or those products solve problems for those people. And our product, cross chain swaps, what problem are we trying to solve for our customers? They don't necessarily care about changing the world. They just want a good, cheap, nice, comfortable user experience. And so, basically, we have two ways to compete on price and user experience, right? So, like, um, and it's probably going to be a combination of both. And um, on the price side, it's just going to take. I think it just takes time to get people used to that, to know about it, get off the centralized exchange, start using us or near whoever. Like, it's not like when people are trading on a sex, it's not like they're constantly checking the quotes of fees and all these other exchanges. Once you're using Coinbase, you're done. You just keep using it. And it's only when things like kind of really get out of whack, it really forces you to change and go somewhere else. And it's kind of like you shopping at your favorite grocery store, right? Prices have to get really out of whack before you actually change grocery stores. And so there's gonna be something really has to happen to push you into that new store. Um, Meanwhile, you got to have the new store just has to just keep going. Like if our prices are higher than a centralized exchange, and maybe we come up with this fantastic user experience, but it's still not enough to attract people to switch over. And when they find out about THORChain, like, oh, well, it's way too expensive. I'm not going to go to that store. And then now that's their initial experience with THORChain is expensive. I don't want to touch it. And that first impression is locked in their brain now for the next 5 or 10 years. And it's going to take an inordinate amount of work and effort to change their mind, their opinion on it. Whereas if their first time they hear about THORChain, the first time they use it, oh, wow, this is way cheaper than a centralized exchange. That is now locked into their brain. And so maybe they do make the switch and they come over. Um,
Word of mouth, maybe too, right? They tell their
yeah.
friends, "Hey, dude, like, whoa, this is so much cheaper."
And so it's just like I was talking about people trying to, fork THORChain or Sarai and create a competing product to THORChain. We're trying to create a competing product to centralized exchanges. We're trying to, well, maybe I'm actually kind of uh, fight disproving one of my points. It's hard to pull money from a competitor, pull business, right? Once somebody's implanted, right? Once somebody's there, um, but you got to come in cheaper. But that's one of the ways, right, to try and get the customers to make the switch is being cheaper. I think we just have to hold on to it. Like, that's our cost of doing business is, like, we gotta stay cheaper for longer. Um,
I
yeah.
kind of
Anyway,
have a
I'll stop.
Well,
I kind of
here,
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. I'm just trying. There's so many points. I'm trying to keep them all in my head.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Denny. I'll try to hold on.
I have a slightly different take than both of you, but it kind of goes into Kenton's direction. So you guys have it's actually really good points on both you're making. I mean, both are totally viable points, 100%. And I'd like to imagine if I'm in a business with Boone, Boone's the CEO. I like it. I say, let's do it, man. You're great. Like this good leadership's a good idea. But you've described THORChain this way before, Boone. You've described THORChain as a decentralized business, and I like that description a lot. I think it's really cool. Maybe the first ever decentralized business where anyone can become, a participant, take and make a stake. But I think the key word for me is that word decentralized. And if we have this toggle, then it gets a little micromanagey. And the one thing that I think we've demonstrated on THORChain is that we're not good at being quick with micromanagement and changing things, like dealing the consensus of nodes. Now, perhaps, it would just take 3 nodes or whatever, but I kind of like from my brain likes is having it more algorithmic. Sorry, I'm a little tired. And so I'm not sure. And I do like the idea of just treating an XMR just like any other asset on THORChain. There's no difference. Like kind of like how Maya treated with Zcash, shielded Zcash, just an asset, just like any other asset. Um, But you are making a good point that we do have a unique selling point here. But I like the long-term vision. I'm willing to sacrifice and crazy yield short term for a very long-term gain. And I think if we just treat it like any other asset, I think that wins. I think both strategies win, but my brain just prefers Kenton's idea a little bit more just because of how decentralized we are. But if we were a business, more executive, more like, command oriented, then I probably would go with your suggestion. That's what my brain does anyway. I'll let you go, Boone. I know there's a lot to respond to.
Uh, yeah. So I think part of what we're discussing, maybe I could introduce this frame of like two markets. And so I think most people in Thorchain land focus on the global market. And so that's when we're competing with Binance and Coinbase, et cetera. Whereas I've been looking more at the permissionless swap market, which is a tiny subsection of that global market. And so if we go back to Tesla, if I remember correctly, I mean, I think Denny walked away, but Denny was an early investor in Tesla. They started off making a Model S, I think, was their first product. And so it was luxury high end. They didn't start building the mass market one. Did you
It
hear me?
was, yeah, I heard you. I just it's a roadster, but I think the Model S was the first mainline one. Yeah, you're right about that. I think.
Well, yeah, so the Roadster was even more luxury,
Yeah, that was
so
that was like
like
prototype.
right. So he went after a smaller market that had higher margins, a luxury vehicle market, because then the margins are higher. And he used that as a stepping stone to earn the income or revenue or proof, whatever it is, to prove it out, to eventually then chase the mass market with the 3 and now the Y. And I think the Y is one of the best selling cars in the world right now, definitely the best selling electric vehicle. But he didn't start there. And I guess that's just kind of what I'm proposing. Again, it is a shorter term play or a medium term play, but it's to monetize the where we do have the edge, the permissionless market, to build POL, to bring in more unique node operators, to fund the marketing budget, to capture to chase short-term revenue, and then use that short-term revenue to then pursue the long-term goals. So it's like a medium-term play. Yeah, it is short term, but we're going to use that to build towards the long term. And that's kind of the perspective that just have. I'll let you guys respond there.
How long would you envision having high prices then? And, like, at what point or what signal would you be looking for to then, okay, we should start reducing them? We've got our high end, high profit margin business going. This is good. We've got some of this money. Then when do you start lowering the fees to go to more mass production? What would you be looking for?
I mean, well, I think I mean this is when Chad's like dynamic fee idea really, fits in, and we could go. I mean, and in general, I think that is a great way to go, and so we can let some kind of algorithmic choice, feed into all that. Uh, and then just one other, while I was sharing my thoughts on that feature, the other, I think, another big issue, just with the way it's currently implemented, is if I looked at this, I'm pretty sure this is correct, is that the algorithm or the heuristic that the feature uses to decide whether to increase or decrease fees, it just simply looks at the revenue earned by that pair, by that affiliate. And so if that revenue is not normalized against, I think the proper metric would be global exchange volume, then it's going to be a very noisy signal to the point of not being useful. Because if volume goes up across the board, then we'll earn more revenue. But maybe that's not because the fee is correct. It's just because there was a market event that day and volume went up, and so you don't want the fee adjustment to be jerked around by market events. You want it to, and so I think normalizing against global exchange volume would make it a lot more signal and a lot less noisy. But yeah, I forgot to say this earlier when I was sharing my thoughts on the feature. So that's the other change that I would suggest that we make to make that feature actually do what we all want it to do. But then returning to the conversation at hand is, yeah, eventually I think having an algorithm set the fee makes a ton of sense. Yeah, so
I think what's funny about this conversation is both points work. We're just trying to determine what's optimal, and that's really hard to do, right? So we win either way, I think. It's a really interesting conversation. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but I think both win. So whatever we decide, I'm just. Hey, Boone, while you're here, good job. I always say this. Good job, man, with XMR. And shout out to Luke Parker. I know we were talking about Orion competition, but we always like to pay the due. Is Luke Parker did open source his Frost implementation of TSS, which is why we're here. So that's great. So thank you, Luke Parker. Again, we like to say that. But yeah, boys, I'm not sure. It's an interesting conversation, but I can go either way for me. I think once XMR goes live, we win either way, right? It's so cool.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
gonna be,
excited, you guys.
yeah, it's gonna be good. But it's good for us to have this conversation and talk about it. 'Cause we
Yeah,
obviously do want to
I love it.
maximize the benefit,
Yes.
right? Um, so yeah,
I think okay, real quick, I think okay, let's just say we're going with Boone's suggestion, just hypothetically. I think we should get XMR pool running stable first before we do any price manipulation whatsoever. Right? That's what my gut says. Like, let's just get it safe, working, and then once we have a good product, then we can put it out there. That's what my gut says, anyway. I hate for someone to get charged 1% and then just be a terrible experience. You know what I mean?
yeah, I would just say, I mean, I think that's kind of going to be built in, hopefully, to the process where
Yeah.
hopefully XMR will go live quite soon, and then yeah, who knows how long this ADR will take to work through the process. So I
Yeah.
think there will be, some amount of
A buffer.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes
yeah.
sense. Were you gonna say something, Kenton? I kind of cut you off a little bit.
No, no, it's good. Yeah,
Well, gosh dang it, it's Sunday, you guys. We tried Amir Taki. We did get to
yeah.
talk to him a little bit. He asked us questions instead of us asking him questions. So, I mean, I guess it was our interview. Yeah,
I'll
we got
try and get
interviewed
him
today.
on. I'll try and get him on again.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I told him he hasn't replied, but I asked him. I said, well, maybe we'll try and plan it for when he's back home and he has his desktop and
Yeah.
he's got proper internet. So, yeah, I'll try and make it happen, guys. Yeah, like you said, Danny, we don't give up. We'll keep pushing forward, and we
No.
don't, fix
Isn't
problems.
that
We'll,
right,
yeah,
Boone? We don't give up. We never stop. We always keep going. Isn't that
yeah,
right, buddy?
We do not give up.
yeah.
100%.
And more and more, we're becoming unstoppable.
That's right.
Train, baby. Choo choo, mother effers. Hop on the THORChain. You know what I'm saying? I love it, guys. We're doing really good.
Okay.
So,
Oh, actually, one thing I really did like that Amir surfaced, yeah, the possibility of doing formal verification, and that could, I mean, yeah, like, and you guys were both talking about this is, the AI is creating hacks, but then it also, there's the red team and the blue team or whatever.
Yeah.
And, uh, and this is just I've been vibe coding a lot, and just like the tools just get so good. Like I one shotted something yesterday and it's just like,
Wow.
yeah, dev time is quickly gonna stop being like, it's just gonna be a commodity, or like that, like it's about the idea or the design rather than the execution. And so, yeah, we can move towards perfect code eventually, and I'm very excited about that.
First principles matter, everybody. First principles matter. Never run away from first principles. What THORChain has done is much, much harder than getting market makers and solvers and things like this. Permissionless, non KYC, truly decentralized liquidity. So much freaking harder. But Boone, Kenton, when we stay true, and now we have AI tooling that can, I'm hoping, to your point, Boone, really just make our code just dynamite, just diamond, right? Just impregnable.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, I mean, we could
we got it.
refactor to Rust, or like, I mean, who knows what's coming down the pipeline, but
Wild.
yeah, as the coding tools get better and better, then we can just really, like turtle up and become, not ossified, but just like really tight. And then, yeah, like the fact that we're truly permissionless, and then unfortunately due to the THORFi collapse, but the fact that we have this POL, and then as the system income POL feature turns on, I think that'll be a really big moat. And so we were kind of talking, or you guys were mentioning to Amir how like near intense they have their solvers, and that like for example, on 1010 last year, the market makers all disappeared. They pulled their liquidity, and so near just shut down.
Yeah.
And um, I won't go open up this can of worms, but just, I really do think the space layer order books feature makes a lot of sense, but it has the same issue where it would be kind of matched one to one. And so maybe if, we turn our arbs into market makers, then our market makers would pull their liquidity, but then the POL will always be there. So like like that's another reason to have POL is it's permissionless liquidity. And so to contrast to LPs, maybe for whatever reason, an LP wants to pull their liquidity. They don't try, like for whatever, but so you don't just need a permissionless protocol, you need permissionless liquidity. And so POL will meet that bill as well.
100%. And like you said in the last conversation, Lose Thursday, you made a great point that the POL is an asset. It's not a liability. It's not a liability,
Correct.
right? And so if,
Right.
XMR gets, if there's a bug in XMR and we lose a few $1,000s, it's our money. Whatever. We learn, we adapt, we refactor, we do whatever we got to do, launch it again, and it's okay. We don't owe, there's no LP to refund. It's our own exogenous capital.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
very powerful. Very powerful. Yeah, absolutely, man. So yeah, I love it. Boone, I think it is Sunday. We're going an hour and a half. We did this extra day for Amir. And technical, we got shafted again by technical things. Was there anything else you want to talk about, buddy? I always try to.
No, no, I was really just hopping on to plug my ADR29, but then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Thanks for giving us a little content today. And sorry, guys, we're doing the best we can here. I mean, when things happen, it's just
Well,
beyond our control. But we always put forth the effort, and we'll try again. We can have them on again.
we've
You
done
know?
pretty good here, Denny. I think we've been
Yeah.
doing these now for, well, over a year if you include spaces on Twitter.
Yeah, we have been
And aside
every single weekend.
from a Twitter space, rugging us, I think this is the first time we've had an episode fall apart with a guest where we couldn't
Yeah.
make it work. So I think we're doing pretty good. So
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, sure. I hope our audience will forgive us, but I will try and get Amir back on. Yeah, try and figure it out.
Absolutely. Well, hey, and maybe he can if he wants. I mean, I know if he can hop on Thursday with Chad Barefoot. F it, if he wants to
That
hop in,
might,
that might be really fun.
yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, it kind of people are curious. We do try and push people to Saturdays for me and Denny's schedule,
Yeah.
and we want something consistent. If it's someone high profile like Amir, who's time is precious, and it's nice it's a honor to have someone like that be willing to
Yes,
join
it
us
is.
on our little tiny piddly, podcast in the corner of cyberspace. Um, so I do offer other times for people like that. They want to do during the week or whatever, try and fit their schedules. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if people are curious. Reason we're doing Thursdays and Saturdays is for to fit our schedules that Denny and I can commit to, and Chad can commit to on Thursdays. Denny and I for us to commit to on Saturdays. So, and it's worked out pretty. I think Saturdays worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
So we do them in the morning, North America time. That's afternoon, evening, European time. So we tend to
Yep.
cover most time zones when people are awake. It's really only Asia we kind of miss out on. But we have had a few people in Asia stay up late to do it with us on Saturday.
Hmm.
Um, but that was part of the reasoning too. Just when is the time we can actually be available and commit to this? So
Yeah.
Saturdays seem to be working, and we'll keep going, keep doing it until it doesn't, I guess. Um, yeah,
I mean, I foresee a day, Kenton, where THORChain's so big, the marketing budget has we're doing really good, lots of flesh casts. I mean, we could hire some podcasters in Asia who are familiar with THORChain, and they could come on Riverside and do their own show on
yeah,
certain time
yeah.
zones, and right,
Well,
we
dude,
got to build to that, of course.
you're gonna fire us already? Come on, man. You can't. No
No,
one's gonna.
no, additive, my
Oh,
brother,
additive.
additive.
Okay.
Our show, and then they
Yeah.
show. They go on
There
our
you
hour.
go. But
Never
yeah,
take
one
away, always
day.
add.
I'm excited for that budget. I want to spend the money, guys. Like I'm like,
Yeah,
um, it's tough. It's really there is a bit of a what would you call it? A leap, a cliff.
yeah,
I can spend stuff like for 5, 10, 15 grand, but I'm like, I feel like a lot of it's gonna be a waste, just kind of the stuff that seems like it'd be worth it, where we could actually get some return is like 50, 100, 150 grand. So it's a bit of a leap to get into something. And what I'm talking about is like being sponsored in newsletters, newsletter articles, going out to the audience where they promote THORChain. Um, because like that's and the more I think about it, the different ideas out there, I feel like that's probably our where we're gonna have better bang for our buck, better chance of conversion. Um, and so especially, and I don't do just one, I want to do multiple,
yeah,
right? People have to hear the same message at least 5 times before it clicks, right? So I don't want to do one offs with these platforms. That's why it gets up to 50 or 100 grand or whatever. So I can do multiple, right? Do like a
right,
campaign over like several weeks type deal or a couple months where it's like it's a constant drip getting out there. Um, I'm going to be doing that with DeFi Llama, right? So signed up with them to basically I forget what I pay for 12. I think it was 12 articles. So over the course of a year, and so basically average once a month. But I have some. I can dictate that a bit. If I want to do two a month for a while type deal, we can do it. And so, but I want to get the dashboard done there, and then get them. So the dashboard is done. The data on DeFi Llama is looking good. Then they're going to the audience to their newsletter list, promoting THORChain. So if they go look on DeFi Llama, it's all looking good. We're all there, and um, and then just keep on them with THORChain propaganda. So yeah, just to give you guys an idea, this is what I'm kind of how I'm thinking about this, planning to try and do the outreach. Um, I want to do some pay per click, pay per view stuff. It's like I feel like that money's going to evaporate pretty easily. But I still want to at least try it to see what the results are like. And um, but I feel like the newsletter stuff might get better bang for our buck here, as opposed because the pay per click stuff that's like with CoinGecko, it's like 25 grand.
right.
Like to do, and that could just be all gone in a day or two. And so yeah, you want to do it on sites that people actually go to, right? That are actually visited, right? So if I'm doing pay per click on some website no one's heard of, and it's like, well, how much value does that have? So yeah, it'd be nice to get to the point where you kind of just pay for it all, just start doing everything and just seeing
Hmm.
I don't want to say wasting money, but at least we can afford to. I can afford to experiment more. And whereas right now, I got to be really careful what I experiment with. So
Yeah,
um,
that's rough. That's rough because you don't know like the marketing budget, right? There's always like this, I don't know what you call it, it's like an ambiguity differential between what you want to spend on and then how much revenue you're expecting to get from
yeah.
the swap volume on THORChain. That's hard to, I bet that's hard to to navigate a little bit, you know?
Well, and the hack really screwed everything up
Yeah, a
because
month.
now our month
Wow.
that money's gone, or like we didn't earn anything. Now I got to see what the volume's like when we go back
Right.
live, and so our working capital is definitely going down, and I don't want to get into a deficit, right? Like then I got to default on contracts and stuff, and I don't want to get to that point. So trying to keep a good buffer of working capital. I feel pretty strongly this is a like we're in the bottom of a bear market. Like this should be the lowest our rep volumes are and our revenue are. Um, but yeah, I want to avoid going from paycheck to paycheck. Right. I need a
Yeah.
good like that's gonna put us in a tough spot. So um I gotta kind of assume that whatever money I spend on the marketing won't work. That we'll get zero out of it. Right. So that I can keep going and try other things. If I assume it's gonna return something and it doesn't, then that'll put me in a really
Yeah.
bad spot. So um yeah.
Yeah, it's a safe, that's a conservative way to do it. I agree.
Yeah.
Where the pay per click, I'm wondering, I was giving this a little thought, I would say because demographics and location is everything usually for pay per click. And so I wonder, I don't know. I've never done this before. I've done pay per click things. I did affiliate marketing when I was younger. It's a long time, man. But I wonder if like we could target Venezuela, maybe African
I think
countries,
you
something that
can.
we're utility.
Yeah. I think it is
Yeah.
possible to target by IP address. Or on
Yeah.
some platforms anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
'cause
they
So
actually could use,
I
go
have
ahead,
a
Boone.
question, Kenton.
yeah.
When STO wallet?
Well, great question, actually. So,
Yeah.
uh, Ibec brought this up. Um, Apparently you can create a wallet with a passkey. New passkeys now, like another, like, kinda type of password.
Yeah,
Um, Apparently you can create a wallet with a passkey, and if you've got a password manager on your desktop and on your phone, the passkey goes between the 2, right? And so you could set up a wallet, kinda like Keystore, through passkey. And if it's on your password manager, you'd also be able to access it on your phone as well. And so, I think and I apparently Near is doing something like this, has this option as well. And, so that might be a way to get a kinda quick and dirty wallet for THORChain. Um, but
because I think that would be what we want to market to Argentina and the third world is not just a swapping service, but like oh, you need the wallet too, right? Because
yeah.
they're primarily using payments. And
Good
so
point.
you need to be able to send and receive and all that.
Well, and, like so I've been thinking about an app, but it would be, memoless. So which, uh, Ibec told me should actually be pretty relatively easy to get something like that out. So it wouldn't be a wallet app. It would be a basically just to create memoless transactions. Um, so that's on our list of things. A full-blown actual THORChain wallet. To be honest, that's like the bottom of our list, or bottom of my list anyway. If the community get loud about it, whatever, and maybe that might help, change my thoughts. Just so you guys know, part of how I prioritize stuff is just feedback from the community. Whatever I hear people complaining, I'm like, okay, we need to get this done or get that done. Um, but basically, we want to do everything. I want to get all these things done. It's just time to do it, right? And like, there's me and 2 people from Unstoppable working on it. So, we don't
Well,
have unlimited resources.
if
But
if they're open to a new vibe coder, I can contribute. I got spare
Boone,
time.
I have asked them about that, but they're like, well, they kinda wanna keep, because once you start getting other people involved, then it's like they don't understand the code base, and you got to explain it to them, and then they're
Well, sure. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I got
uh,
a good amount of free time on my
all
hand at my job, so
right. Well, I'll ask them. I'll ask them.
yeah.
Um, but they made it sound like it would actually create more work than less. Um, so, but yeah, then the other thing too with the wallets, I just kind of feel like, well, I think we just keep pushing for existing wallets to support THORChain and the Rune token and whatnot. Um, but I get it. I totally get it, guys. Having a phone app, having your own wallet would definitely help with adoption and whatnot. I'm just thinking more like it's just one more thing to support. We're so um, yeah. Um, yeah, I'm
Bandwidth.
not
That's
against the
bandwidth.
idea. I'm just it's on lower on the priority. Trying to get STO all dialed in, get that all good. Um, and to be honest, I'd like to add a few more browser wallets, like to connect browser wallets to STO. Um, then after, right now we're working, trying to get Kepler done, trying to get this affiliate page done so partners can create an account with us. Um, and then get the widget done so people can put the THORChain widget on their website. That's like our main push right now, get those things done. We've had a new backlog of bugs that need to be fixed. And then after that, I think we're going to prioritize having some more browser wallets be connected to STO. And then after that, I think kind of then we can talk about, what's the next big project that we really want to push. And maybe it is a phone app. And maybe we do just start with Memoless. Maybe we do get that passkey wallet thing going. Um, and then maybe we can start talking a bit more about an actual wallet. Oh, well, actually, Boone, like the Unstoppable guys, they're very open, people forking their wallet. And like, they're proud of that when people fork their wallet and make it their own.
There you
So we
go.
could fork the Unstoppable wallet.
Is Unstoppable open source?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well, and they
We,
work for us, right?
yeah. So
What?
we could fork their wallet. And
Yeah.
then
Why don't we just do that?
maybe that's our answer right there. We fork their wallet. And then,
Yeah.
as they're updating their own, we apply their updates to ours. Um,
I mean, but like that is like we'd be cutting into their money. You sure they're cool with that? Like,
yeah, they are. Well,
especially okay.
one, like you said, they work for us. And two, they have, I don't want to start a fight in the community, but they have their own audience. Like they
Yeah.
have their friends, their thing they're doing, right? Like their brand, right? They view working with THORChain enhancing their brand,
Right.
right? Not as cannibalistic. And
Right.
so same with like there's the other wallets that have forked Unstoppable. They do view that as a compliment. Like, yeah,
Okay.
they're competing with the Unstoppable wallet, but they view it as validation for their code that this is good tech that other people want to emulate it. And so, actually, now that I talk about this, I think Ibex already mentioned that. We've already talked about this
Pretty sure
about
we
us,
have. Yeah.
about us. No, me and Ibex when we have our personal meetings one on one,
Oh,
um, about doing building stuff, and he might have actually even brought it up. So, um, yeah, no, I'm positive he'd be cool with it. Um, And same with the aggregator guys. Like we had this conversation. I'm like, you work for us, you build this aggregator, you cannot go sell it on your own. That's the deal, right? It's this aggregator is for us. If you're talking to any other wallets about it, they're integrating our aggregator, not yours. They can have their own aggregator for their own wallet for Unstoppable. That's yours. You can do your thing. I'll give you that. But any new wallets, any new platforms, it's the THORChain API, not yours. And they're like, okay, cool, deal. So yeah, like they work for us, Boone. This isn't like
Yeah.
right.
Well,
So
I mean, I've been all about that Thor kit.
yeah. So and then they encouraged me. Like they want to turn on other exchanges and stuff on THORKit. Right. They want that. They want to help get our API out there. So it's been great working with them. I think we're very well aligned and we understand each other well. Um, and yeah, I think
I
Yeah, they wanna see THORChain succeed. So go ahead, Denny.
Uh, I hope they run a node on THORChain, and then it's
They're
completely
ta
all win for them,
they're
you
they're
know?
talking about it. I don't know, but we talked about it a few
Hey,
months ago. He's asking me about how to do it and whatnot, and so, they just might. I've
then they're
actually
double winning, right? Then it's
exactly, yeah,
okay. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Um,
back. I back. I
yeah.
back. I back.
I don't know if they've actually carried through with it or not yet, but, yeah, they're talking about it.
I
Um,
back.
yeah.
I back. Yeah, dude, that would be that's perfect. I mean, it's perfectly in line incentives, a brilliant idea.
Yeah,
I know they're bullish on THORChain and they have their I mean, you just win on every field at that front. You got
yeah,
your own wallet and you're also contributing on THORChain, which means if Boone forks your code and uses THORKit, yeah, it's not going unstoppable, but you as a node operator, you're getting that yield, baby. So I back.
yeah.
I back. All
The
right.
Just going back to the wallet app, the only thing, do you need a company and entity to get on the app stores? Like, that's one thing I'm unsure about.
I
Um,
think Cal would know. Cal would be a good port for that question.
okay.
Cal would know. Because he
Um,
struggled with the App Store, like, he had an aneurysm about he was getting so frustrated, so he would know all the ins and outs,
well, I remember
for sure.
Multisig too. They struggled with the
Yeah.
app store and stuff, and
Um,
I think with Apple App Store, I think Google was fine.
yes.
I think
Yeah, yeah, Android's okay, from what
Android,
I hear,
yeah.
anecdotally.
So that'd be the only. I mean, who's going to do that? I'd have to work on that. And that's just like one more thing I don't have to like work
Yeah,
on.
but you could take that on when you wanted to. If we had the
Yeah,
wallet ready,
yeah,
then you get your projects done, then, like, okay,
yeah.
time to go, baby. So,
Well,
you
this
know
now that I keep thinking about it, so IBEX said something about an SDK, so you can have. I think it's like that's like the file type, whatever, for an app on your
Yeah,
Android,
Well,
and anyone can download it. You can have it like hosted on GitHub or
usually
something, and somebody
SDK
can
means
download it.
software development kit. And so it's like a set of
yeah.
tooling rather than an app in and of itself.
Well,
He
correct me
says
if
an
I'm wrong, but the
SDK file, I thought
Oh,
he
okay.
said.
I
I
could
might
be
be
SDK
wrong
misremembering
then.
the
I could just
file.
be very wrong here.
Yeah, guys, I'm showing I'm not a dev, but
me
the
neither.
way I remember our conversation, he said something like, "You can make the app an SDK file, I guess, and I think you could just host it on GitHub, and then people can download on their phone and use it. You can actually, like, bypass the App Store."
Yes, for Android, not for Apple.
For
Yeah.
and Yeah, for Android. Yeah, exactly. So we were talking about that, doing
But
that,
also that
and
I mean, there's not too many people that are gonna do that, just to be honest. Like, you have to change a setting, and then it's there's like a tech hurdle there that just a lot of people won't clear.
yeah, I believe you. I agree. Um, but as far as being, like, uncensorable,
100%.
we could at least offer that, right? Have that, or at least at minimum get that going, and then work on getting deployed in the app stores, right?
Right.
But at least we've got that option for the people who are tech savvy. I don't know, maybe the unbanked people in Africa, whatever. Maybe they've all jailbroken their phones and they're already doing this sort of stuff. I don't know. Um, um, so yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, but we do talk about, we have talked about it. It's just like trying to prioritize, what should we get done first type deal.
No, of course. I just
Yeah.
Boone forks Unstoppable wallet, and then IBEC runs a node on THORChain. We win. That's my 3-step process, guys, right there. Boom. What do you think, Boone?
I mean, I was yeah, I'll look into all this, but specifically, no, no,
I'm
no.
fucking with you,
Like
buddy.
what it makes total sense what you're saying, Kenton, about prioritization, and there's so much to do. And I guess what made me think of it, of course, is just when you're talking about geo targeting ads to the Argentina or whatever. And I just want to, yeah, I just think it makes sense to consider what the use case of these different markets is. And so I don't think we should target like the third world, which is primarily using crypto for payments, until we have a wallet, is all I was really getting at originally.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
that's a fair
Makes
point
sense.
because, like, I do think about that. STO is on a desktop,
Yeah.
and the world is mobile, and that's the way it's
Right.
going, right? And so, That's why I was thinking having an app with memo lists is that 'cause the other thing is too, everyone has their wallet that they already use and already like, right? And so coming up with we all have, I mean, gosh, I've got probably like 12 different wallets on my phone. I've got 5 different browser wallets, right? Like the last thing I want to do is write another wallet, another seed phrase, right? It's just, managing it all is a nightmare. Um, and so I was thinking, okay, well, rather than ask them to download yet another wallet, um, why not enable the wallets they already have that they can already use on their phone, they already have on their phone. And so, that's why I was thinking get a memoless app going that, 1, should be easy anyway, and then 2, that any wallet they can use with any wallet that's already on their phone. Um, that might be a good stepping stone to us and then having our own wallet. Um, yeah. Um, and I think if we have our own wallet too, like the UI's gotta be great. We can't just have one just for sake of having one. Like we gotta, put some effort into it. 'Cause that's ultimately how it'll win too, is the UI. I actually let me guys know that maybe hopefully I'm not I think the UI on SEO is pretty good. Like, I was using Uniswap the other day and I'm like, "God, this sucks." And, 'cause I'm used to using STO and I'm like, I don't I think we've done a pretty good job of keeping the UI clean. I think it's easy to use, understand. You guys agree, disagree? Please be honest with me.
I think it's
Um,
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
if
very
I think it's
simple,
good.
which is nice. Um, and this, I just since you're asking, but maybe you could kind of take a page from Coinbase's book and have like the simple version and then the advanced version and kind of toggle. And so, yeah, but that would be way down the road. But I think right now it's great. And then I do have this conversation about wallets made me think of something else that ties
well,
into our previous conversation.
Boone,
Yeah.
hold on a sec. I wanna just adjust what you just said about Pro and Simple. That is also part of our plan. So Simple will be the current site, and Pro will have all the app layer, features. So that's another big undertaking and I've been pushing off app layer because it's just really basically not done yet, right? But once Rogeria's kinda got all that done and it's scaling, that'll be the Pro
Well,
version, all the app layer stuff. But sorry, go ahead.
no, I just whenever we were going back and forth about like fees and whatnot, one other thing that occurred to me during that conversation is we were talking about going after the global market and competing with Coinbase and Binance. And a big, I think perhaps you underestimate the hurdle for the global user base is the tech knowledge to use just like as simple as a wallet, right? And so I think, you're just like, oh, we want to take, maybe that's why near intense hasn't taken that much volume from Coinbase or Binance, is simply taking custody of your own coins is a big hurdle. And so, if and then, so you were saying, okay, so maybe THORChain needs to take the lead and we need to lower our fees and do everything we can to capture that global swapper. Then there's an alternative. And I just saw a tweet that kind of made sense. And it was talking about Zuckerberg and what he kind of one of his business strategies. We can look at, say, Instagram or whatever, is to let competitors flesh out a market, build a market, and then go in and capture it after the fact. So you let other people take the risk, and then he just goes in with his distribution and just captures it. And so rather than THORChain taking on the risk to popularize, self custody swaps and all that, we let other protocols spend that time and effort to develop that market. And then once it's developed, then we can step in and undercut them. So that's just like it's a potential strategy to consider.
Well, Zuck would he bought Instagram, he bought WhatsApp, right? He
Right, but
didn't
that was
build
after
them
they
and then
proved
compete, right?
themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get
right.
it, yeah. So, but he bought them, he didn't go and compete with them. Like, he tried to compete with Twitter with Threads, that blew up. He tried to compete with the metaverse, that blew up. So anything he's tried to build on his own blew up, but the stuff that he acquired worked. So if I'm gonna keep going with your analogy, which I agree with, let others figure it all out and then just buy the winner. We basically have to buy a wallet and, take over a wallet and then just rebrand it and, to THORChain.
I mean,
So,
yes
like,
and no. I don't. I am not a business. I'm not a business major. But again, I mean, so I don't. So we don't necessarily have to compete with every front end because it's the aggregator market that really matters, right? Because almost none of the wallets are doing the routing themselves, right? It's almost all SwapKit in the back end. And so, and how does SwapKit route? It's almost exclusively on fees. And so we can, and if that's true, then you already have the distribution. You don't have to create I mean, I do think we should compete with SwapKit, but like putting that aside for now, like you don't have to create a new aggregator. You just have to have lower fees than every other swapping service, and then that immediately captures the distribution.
yeah. I'm sorry, Boone, I'm not following your line of we were originally talking about, like, a wallet app, and now you're talking about an aggregator. I'm not
No, no,
making the
no.
connection.
We kind of.
Um,
I did jump topics, and I returned. So the what I'm trying to speak to is the concept of letting other swapping protocols such as Near or CoinFlip take on the risk and spend the money to win users from sexes. So, like chasing that user experience, spending the money, the advertising to go after the sex user. Let them do all that. And then once they've switched over to crypto wallets, then undercut them. Don't try to compete on price with Near and Chainflip now. Let them offer cheap swaps to the sex. Let them pursue the sex user. We pursue the permissionless market. They pursue the sex user. Once they've converted the sex user to crypto rails, then we capture that market.
This is a viable
okay.
strategy, I guess, because they're spending money basically, or and allegedly,
I
I
have a
haven't confirmed this
dashboard to show
myself.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go. So, assuming that's correct, which I have no reason to doubt Boone's analysis, they are bleeding money to get users, and then you can just when the time's right, whenever that is, you could do that. That's a viable strategy as well. There's so many ways to win here. I mean, that's like me trying to figure out which fruit is more delicious. You know what I mean? I want them all. You know what I mean? Which pie is better? Pecan pie, apple pie? I don't know.
Apple,
Little
of
mousse,
course.
apple
Come on.
pie, pecan pie,
Yeah.
bro. Pecan. Canadian. Have you ever had pecan pie?
I'm not a big dessert guy, but I do like apple pie.
Have you
Um,
ever had pecan pie? That was the question.
I'm
Putting you
sure
on
I
the spot.
have.
You
Um,
couldn't forget if you had it. So delicious, buddy. Get you some of that southern vibe pecan pie. You know what I'm talking about, Boone? You a pecan pie? You better get this answer
I
right.
am also not a dessert guy too much, but as far as I might be a rhumbarb pie guy.
Oh God,
oh,
I'm mad.
wow.
Let's
Engine.
shut down the space. I'm just kidding. Shit. Well, we're coming on 2 hours, boys.
Yeah, we should wrap it up, I think. Unless
Okay,
Boone, there's anything else you wanted
but
to
yeah,
No, no.
Boone,
I mean,
say or
please
talk
go
yeah.
about?
ahead.
Like I think
Okay.
down the road we should be competing in the aggregator market, and I think we should have a wallet eventually. But you have plenty on your plate, so I'm not gonna.
Well, we
Eh,
are competing in aggregator
Okay.
market. So, I mean, we absolutely are. And, I actually
How
think it's
much
going well.
volume is going
It's
through
just,
THORChain? I wasn't even aware that like we were doing anything significant.
not to be honest, I don't know, not
Okay.
much. But,
well, we've been paused for a month, right?
it's a marathon, not a
Sure.
sprint, right? So, like,
Yeah.
we're having good conversations. I think we're at like 22 platforms have the
All
API
right.
now. Um, and probably half of them are Monero related, and they're waiting for Monero to go live before they
Holy smokes.
switch us on. Um, Randy, we're continuing to have conversations with bigger wallets. There's just a longer sales process. Um, but we're in the arena. We're
So
talking.
you're saying
So
there's maybe like 10
A chance.
wallets that are integrating THORChain specifically for Monero? Kind of.
don't quote me on that number, but
That
there's
yeah, I
several.
love to
Yeah,
hear that.
they,
That
yeah,
makes me a proud
yeah,
papa.
yeah.
Oh,
Um,
Papa Boone.
so, but they all said they want to wait for Monero to go live before they turn on THORChain. So I don't know why they would wait. Like you can still offer other routes, right? Other coins, but I'm not gonna whatever. It's what they want to do. So yeah. I'm talking to some other people that they don't have a wallet or whatever. They're not savvy to create their own website, but they're interested in the widget. So that's why I really want to get that done. Then so maybe just remind you guys. So the affiliate page on STO, someone's gonna be able to log in, uh, submit their info. We get Randy and I'll get an email that we got a new user, and then we approve them. They get their API key, and then they'll be able to add in their Thor name and set the fee and their preferred asset payout. And I'll be able to manage uh, the whole API key there in that platform, and they'll also have a tab with all their earnings. And then so once they're entering their as their Thor name, Maya name, their fees, their preferred asset, all kind of stuff, that'll generate the code for a widget. They just copy that code, go paste it in their website, and then they'll have a swap interface on their website. And um, and I've got a few people interested in that, so I really want to get that done. Um, so we can start getting that out. And I actually this is an example too. Like I'm talking to a newsletter about you know promoting THORChain through them, but then we promote the widget swap interface on their website. So then the newsletter can get paid twice. Once from us paying the beat to promote inside the newsletter, and then again from their widget swap interface, and then that's paying the perpetuity. And so rather than just promote THORChain for them, hey, go leave THORChain, go to our website and go trade on it. I can say, go to the newsletter's website and go place a trade. And we're borrowing credibility, right? If the newsletter has our widget on their site, that get to that website's user sees that as more secure, safe, trustworthy, right? Because this is the newsletter, they already has a relationship with their reader, that the reader trusts them. So I like to think it'll be an easier sell and be able to get people on THORChain. I mean, obviously they can skip the website and go right to STO if they want, right? That's not. But at least having our widget on their site should give us more credibility that THORChain is legitimate. So,
I like it.
yeah, I really hope the couple that I'm talking to, if I can pull it off, you guys will be impressed. It'll be good. Um, these aren't just rinky dink, nothing, nobody's never heard of these type deal. So, yeah. So that's why I really want to get this affiliate page thing done on STO, get it all so we can get the widget done so I can start working on these deals. Yeah.
Love it, man. I love it.
You are
Okay.
crushing it.
What do you? Go
Well, I
ahead.
just want to say, I mean, I just want to thank you, Kenton, for all you're doing for THORChain.
Yes.
I'm so much goes unseen, but yeah, just once again, thank you so much. Really appreciate all your efforts.
Oh, thanks. Well, thanks. I am a bit worried because I'm like, I don't know how much I have to show, but like some of these things just, God, they just take so long to get done, to get through. And like, um, SEO is taking much longer than I originally thought to get all these things done, right? So I have to like tease these developers. They tell me a day or two or a week, and it's more like days mean weeks in dev language. Weeks mean months in dev language. And then the sales process with these platforms, right? Trying to get they are aggregated there, trying to work out a deal for promotion, whatever. It takes several weeks, just to get the conversation going, let alone come to a deal, right? So, but yeah, I'm do work on this, guys. Um, I'm just pushing forward slowly but surely. And so I'm hoping soon we start seeing some more like real, like actual outreach, like actual marketing for THORChain. Um, so just to remind everybody, I was focused on getting STO done and the website homepage done so that now we can drive people to those websites. Right. So now I'm kind of in phase two. Now I can start driving people, getting traffic. And so the first one, I guess, would be Sell and Mark Show. That'd be the first real marketing we're doing there with them. Yeah, stuff like getting a sign. I have to get a sign built. So I got to get quotes and I got to talk to these sign shops and we got to go back and forth. These things just take time. And yeah, so, but thank you, Boone. Thanks for recognizing that, acknowledging that. Yeah.
Boone. Well, the reason because I'm really glad Boone said that because I tell Kenton this often. I say, hey man, like you're doing a good job. People are really appreciative, and so, but I'm me. I talk to him all the time. He doesn't care about my opinion because I could just be trying to make him feel better. But no, it's 100% true. I'm going to share something for you, Kenton. You be for capitalists. Absolutely,
Thanks.
Kenton is the fucking man. So there you go,
Yeah. Thanks.
Kenton.
Appreciate that. You guys don't see me replying at 1 a.m. to Telegram messages to people in another time zone. Well, Coke, we were on Friday night. Coke got kicked out of YouTube. And so was it Friday night or Saturday or Thursday, Coke? I can't remember. But, stop what I'm doing and go get them back in. So, yeah, I do. There's lots of stuff going on behind the scenes, guys. If you don't actually see it, there's definitely stuff going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, validate that. I see it a lot, guys. I'm in various groups with Kenton, and it's all kinds of integration partners. He's with all kinds of teams. This is a lot of hard work. These podcasts are the things that you observe, but when the podcast ends, the work is just beginning for him. So remember, Kenton, vacation when you need it. Okay.
I gotta take some time off, guys. I'm burning out. So
Yep.
next week and the week after, I'm taking some time off.
Well
That's good.
deserved.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
thanks.
right.
I got to recharge. I want to Stampede. I want to Calgary. But have some fun. Get in some trouble.
Good.
Maybe get slapped in the face by a girl. Maybe get in trouble by the cops. We'll see.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I gotta get in some trouble.
Yeehaw.
Have some fun. Yeah.
Yeehaw, buddy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to come to the States and blow some more stuff up, man, you can come on. I'm on speed
Absolutely.
dial, buddy. Okay.
I definitely want
Very
to do
good.
that
I'm
again.
sure you could go do it with Boone. I'm sure Boone would be happy to do it with you. Well, I don't know, Boone. Do you live in a communist
I do
state?
live in a
I don't know.
communist
You don't tell me
state.
which state it is.
I'm temporarily in New Jersey, so it's quite hard to blow things up here. I don't even know if fireworks are legal here.
Oh yeah, that's a bummer, man. Oh well. Well, I know you'll move to a place that's more freedom oriented, or if you don't, you'll change the state.
I think I'm pretty settled on New Hampshire, so I'm heading in that direction.
Oh, you're gonna go move in with Joel? Huh?
I mean, probably.
You're gonna move in with Joel.
Yeah.
Bunk with him. Yeah, buddy. There you go. We love Joel over there at
Shout
Dash.
out
He's a great friend of
Joel.
ours, guys. Joel. Awesome. All right, guys. I think we're gonna cut it there. Just a quick reminder, Boone. You can fork that wallet whenever you want, Unstoppable Wallets, and IBEC. Run a node on THORChain. You know you want to do it. Run a node on THORChain, buddy. Okay, that is going to be the last word. Let's get this wrapped up, you guys. Thanks for hanging out there, and Boone, thanks for giving us some time today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, buddy. It was interesting.
Thanks for the conversation and pushback.
Absolutely. Well, actually, I feel like I love it. I think the ultimate thing was like, man, I think everything wins. It's just what's more optimal. Very interesting conversation. So I think, really fun conversation.
Yeah, I don't think.
Guy.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's not trying to push back.
I don't mean in.
Benny's right.
Like,
yeah.
I feel maybe I'm very disagreeable. Like if you know the big five personality types, like I'm extremely disagreeable. And so like for me, argument is never like emotional. Like I'm just always pursuing truth as best I understand it. And that's just like my default assumption of the other party. But then that turns out to not be the case for like other people for I don't know, they get their ego and emotions tied up in it, and all of a sudden it's about winning, and that's just not how it is for me. So like when I say pushback, I mean logical pushback, like help is
Yes, of
steel
course.
sharpens steel or iron sharpens iron kind of thing, not
Yeah.
not fighting pushback.
Yeah, exactly. We both want
Right,
the
yeah,
same thing. We both
everyone's
have the
on the
same
same
goal.
page. It's just
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
how do we
yeah,
find
yeah,
the best way to achieve that goal and then build
yeah,
consensus around that?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Strong opinions loosely held.
I've never
That's what it
understood
is,
that.
right?
Why,
Like
I don't get that. What is that? What does that mean? No, I mean
that
I've heard it.
phrase. That means if you're a strong advocate for your position, but if you encounter an argument that convinces you, you will immediately switch sides. There is no ego assigned to
Okay,
your
but
logical
why
premise.
strong opinions? Like,
Strong because you work. Well, I mean, it's just a
yeah,
Well,
phrase, right?
because you
There's
believe
probably
in
okay,
it, right?
you
There's
believe in
nothing
it,
worse
right?
than like a
okay.
limp wristed
Yeah,
handshake,
like a
right?
limp. Like when I shake your hand, Boone, I want
You
a firm
you you
grip. You know
got
what I
it.
mean?
All right,
Like,
fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, I've always been a little confused.
right?
When I hear someone's position on something, I want to hear the
Yeah.
confidence in their
Sure. I
voice,
guess just in my
right?
thinking,
As
like
soon as
a strong opinion is usually someone who's not open to reconsidering it.
Yeah,
Right,
dogmatic
right.
and
Yeah.
yes,
yeah.
I agree.
Well,
But that's
maybe
where the loosely held part comes in to counteract
yeah.
it.
In
But
my
yeah,
mind, it's like the way I interpret that saying is like strong opinion is like someone who's like
Okay. Yeah,
passionate,
no, I mean I get it. Just
like
yeah,
they believe in it. They really like not necessarily dogmatic, but they're like confident, strong about it. But
yeah.
like you said, Boone, but they're more uh
Pursuing truth,
pursuing truth, and that's
accuracy.
actually is their
yeah.
what they stand behind. Yeah.
I get excited when I get proved wrong. If Boone told me something and he corrected me, like that makes me happy because he just fixed an error within myself. I'm all about error correction. I'm all about optimization of my own self. And that's so important. People like a lot, unfortunately, I think we're kind of unusual, our
Right. Yeah. I
personality
mean,
types, because a lot of people they turtle. They
yeah. I
turtle,
mean,
right? They want to hide in their
yeah. I
shell.
find myself in arguments, and then
I w-
like I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to get to the truth and the best. And then I don't know. Other people are taking it real personal, and I'm just like, that's not. I'm not trying to be personal about any of this.
Yeah, I get it. No, I understand. And I that's why I really like you, Matt, because that's what you are, just a logical beast, and that's what we need. You know what I mean? So absolutely. Just keep doing what
No,
you're doing,
I mean,
Boone. XMR is coming online, right? So you're
you
doing
guys
something
as
right.
well. You both are very reasonable people, and it's always enjoyable to debate stuff with you.
Yeah, likewise, man. Likewise. We all have our own unique experiences and knowledge base, right? Like, you know, Kenton has his thing, you have thing, I have my thing, and usually when we come at each other, like usually we all find the optimal path. It takes all of us to build THORChain, it really does, and to maintain it and do the best. And so yeah,
One
I love
hundred
it, man.
percent.
Okay, guys, we're gonna end it. Likewise, brother. Okay, guys, we're gonna end it up there. So for THORChain data and insights, please, guys, follow at Ray Analytics on X. He does written recaps of these podcasts too. Ray, if you want to take this one off, no big deal. But maybe there's some good stuff we actually could say with Boone. That was probably good, but kind of had a little topic change on this one. And always remember, guys, the views expressed are solely of the hosts and guests. Any action taken is based on on this information at your own risk. Past performance is not indicative of future results. The THORChain community does not endorse or condone illicit activity of any kind whatsoever. We're going to have our Thursday episode, of course, guys. XMR is coming. Next Saturday, we're going to have Bazaar Swap. We're going to have Flynn from Bazaar Swap and Nikita from Decentranet. We're really excited to talk to them. And then the following week, I don't think Kenton's going to make this one, but I'll do it. It's going to be Volti Sig, guys. I think it's when Kenton's taking his vacation. Well-deserved again, Kenton. And that's what's going to happen, you guys. So thank you, everyone, again, for hanging out today. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Enjoy your Sunday, everybody. Bye-bye.